I like to have a lot of common sense. Try to be like the mayor of Realville here, right? So if you're coming in and you're listening to this podcast and you're on like a standard American diet, so to speak, don't worry about it. We're just trying to get you to eat whole foods that are nutrient dense, anti-inflammatory, and low toxin. Like that's our first step out of the gates. This is all window dressing, right? So once you've been doing the right diet, doing the right thing, and you're still having some gut issues, some immune issues, this is kind of where we're going to come in and fine tune things after the fact. So if you're coming in and you're like, man, this is like telling me I can't eat blueberries. Like everyone's telling me blueberries are healthy. What the heck, right? I get it. That could be really overwhelming. So don't worry about that out of the gates. Just really get a good nutrient dense, anti-inflammatory, low toxin, get your carbs in check out of the gate. Start with that before you do anything else. Any comments on that, Evan?
Yeah, well said. And if you're coming in and you're new to the diet game, nutrition game, really just organic as much as possible. And paleo is going to be a great starting place for you. We don't want you to be
Yes.
afraid of certain foods or certain food categories. This is more of like a nutrition 301, nutrition 401 level course. This
Yes.
is like a college level nutrition course, because if you come in and now, like you said, you're afraid of blueberries, you're going to be too stressed. So this is more designed for people that are maybe working with us clinically, or they're working with another, functional medicine practitioner, and they're maybe still teasing apart some things that are irritating them. This is going to be for you guys.
Exactly. So 90% of people are going to go on some kind of a paleo or autoimmune template, and that's going to be enough, right? Others are going to have to do things like cooking the food can decrease some of these anti-nutrients. It can decrease some of the oxalates, some of the salicylates, some of the phytates, right? We know things like nuts are very high in phytates, for instance. Soaking those can be helpful. Obviously, going on an autoimmune diet, we're going to restrict nuts, right? So kind of going autoimmune, we're going to be restricting a lot of these foods just in general. Going paleo, you kind of restrict a lot of them because there's a lot of anti-nutrients in grains. So grains are going to be a big anti-nutrient one. Beans and lentils are going to be a big anti-nutrient one. So just by kind of getting on board of a paleo template where we're cutting out grains, legumes, and dairy, maybe we have some meat, some vegetables, some fruits, some safe starches. Safe starches are grain-free starches, and maybe some fats, including some dairy. That's great. We may have to go one level up where we restrict even butter and dairy, and of course, even nuts and seeds, right? And then, of course, after that, we may have to be doing extra things like restricting FODMAPs because of the fermentable carbohydrates that are in some of these healthy foods like broccoli and Brussels sprouts. And again, the reason why these foods have to be restricted is not because the foods themselves are bad, but because it's more of the gut, your microbiome's interaction with those foods that are the problem. So if we have bacterial overgrowth, right, and you're interacting with these foods, then you're going to be creating lots of gases in your intestinal tract, like methane and hydrogen, that are going to throw off your motility, that are going to make it harder to digest your food, to absorb your food, to break down protein, to break down fat. So it can really throw off a lot of these different things. So I always tell patients out of the gate, the goal is to eat the right foods that allow you to feel as good as possible, not add more stress on your body. And ideally, your body can break them down, because healthy foods not broken down, they ferment, they acidify, they putrefy, and they basically rot inside your tummy, and that's not good. So we have to have those kind of things lined up. And